All right, so if you guys just watched, we just discussed all the wonderful benefits of foam rolling. We're going to discuss how to use some of these foam rollers. Each of them kind of have a very different function and very different density as well. And we'll go over certain actions and mechanisms for foam rolling as well. So first, ladies or men, if you guys have a long hair, like I do, I really suggest pulling it up in a top bun on top of your head, because the last thing you want to do is get your hair stuck under a foam roller and then you can't get up because you're totally pinned yourself down. Not that I'm speaking from experience and doing that almost all the time. So go ahead and pull your hair back. We're going to start with techniques to release our neck. And we'll move down our back and down our bodies until we get all the way to our feet. Now these are just going to be quick examples of foam rolling. You can certainly look up if there's a specific muscle group that you want to foam roll. You can certainly Google that. I'm 100% sure that there is going to be videos available for you. But we're just going to go over this super quick here. So like I mentioned before, I like to start with a lower density foam roller at first. And then as things start to release, we'll go into a higher density foam roller. Now, for the back of our neck, for the nape of our neck here, I love to use my little bean. It is almost the perfect size to hit these muscles right below my skull. So, simply for this, just place your bean or your foam roller right at the kind of where your hairline is, at your neck, just a little bit above. You will definitely feel where the tension is. And just sit here and let the weight of your head press down onto your foam roller and release that muscle tension. Now, if you don't have a bean like this, I do suggest using a smaller diameter foam roller, and that just conforms to basically the arch of your neck better than the larger density. And I'll show you what that looks like. So you would just hold this here for about 30 seconds until you feel the pressure release. Now, I have the smaller density, or smaller diameter foam roller, and again, it's about the same lift on my head. But if you were to go to something larger, like this guy over here, it's not quite the same. Your head is, your chin is tucked into your chest, and it's more of a stretch for the back of your neck than it is an actual myofascial release for the muscles behind your head. So it's still beneficial, but it's not quite myofascial release at that point. So from there, we will foam roll down our thoracic spine, so that's our shoulder area. So put the foam roller underneath your shoulder blades, put your feet up, lift up on your glutes, and you can just roll back and forth. Now, once you find an area of tightness or tension, just stop and hold. If you lift your hips higher and you're putting more body weight on it, it will be a deeper release. And you'd hold there for 30 seconds. So again, for the thoracic spine, roll, find your point of tension, and apply pressure for 30 seconds. Now, our thoracic spine does not just end in our back, it's also our lats. So anybody who lifts a lot, maybe even cycles a lot in the aero position or swims a lot, you will probably have some tension in your lats. I know I do. So again, we'll just put our lat onto the foam roller, and you can kind of roll forward and backwards, as you can see I'm doing, until you find that point of tension. You can also move it up closer into your armpit as well. So once you find that point of tension, you relax and hold there for 30 seconds. Of course, you're going to do this on the other side as well. So lats, and then we have to move to the chest as well, because the chest can get very, very tight, especially if we work at a desk and we're kind of hunched over. You're going to have some major muscle imbalances. So your pecs are going to be weaker, and these are going to be more stretched out. So we definitely need to make sure that we pay attention to our chest. So for our chest, I like to use my bean. You can use a tennis ball as well. Use something that's a little bit softer. And again, just like the lats, put this down, and you're just going to put your pec right onto the tennis ball or the foam roller and find that point of tension. Hold it there for 30 seconds. Again, you'll do this on the other side. Now, after that, we will move down to our lower back. And again, this is my favorite foam roller, so I definitely have favorites. So you'll pop up, kind of like you're crab walking. So put your weight on your hands, weight on your feet, and you can just foam roll your glutes. And once you find that point of tension, stop, hold for 30 seconds. Same thing on the other side, stop, hold for 30 seconds. After you find that, move down just a little bit. There will probably be another point of tension just below that, okay? Same thing on the other side. Stop, hold for 30 seconds. For the glutes, you can pop and sit straight up as well, and just get the very, very top of your hamstrings as well. Now, hamstrings, so we're gonna work down the back of our legs, and then we'll work on the side of our legs and the front of our legs, okay? So hamstrings, straighten the legs up, and just roll back and forth until you find that point of tension. For me, it's like always directly kind of in the middle of the belly of the hamstring. Now, to make it more intense, lift up one leg. You can cross the leg over the other one as well to add more weight. Same thing on the other side, and again, we're holding for 30 seconds until we find that release. Same thing goes for the calves. So just roll the calves back and forth. Again, for me, it's typically like the inside of the belly of the calf muscle, so I have to rotate my legs over to get there. You can put your foot on top of the other one to add some weight. Another thing that can be beneficial is when you're foam rolling your calves, just to point and flex your foot, and that can kind of help get different areas of that calf muscle as well. The bigger the muscle, sometimes the more creative you have to be on applying some weight to it in order to get the big release that you need for that myofascial, okay? Now, we are gonna go and talk about our IT band. So like I mentioned before, research is mixed, all right? Some people really encourage IT band foam rolling, especially if you have IT band syndrome. Some people really discourage it and say that it's gonna cause more problems. So if you do it and it hurts, stop. Don't do it anymore, okay? I usually do a quick once over on my IT band, and that's about it. So I hit it enough to loosen up the fascia just a little bit. I don't ever stop and hold pressure on my IT band. I just do a quick once rollover, okay? Again, we're avoiding areas directly surrounding the knee and directly surrounding the hip because of all the nerve endings that we have there, okay? They're gonna hurt anyway, regardless if your fascia's tight. So, for your IT band, you'll come up on your side, take the back leg and prop it up in front. This is gonna be how you control how much weight you put on this IT band. And like we mentioned before, you don't wanna put a whole lot of weight on the IT band. You wanna use a lower density foam, so a softer foam roller if you have it as well, okay? Especially when you're first starting out with this. So stretch out the back leg, pop up onto your hip, as you can see, and then we're just gonna do a quick once over on the IT band, okay? While we're here, it's super easy just to flip over and roll the quad as well. Now the quad, the front of the quad, again, we're gonna be very careful rolling very close to our knees because of all the nerve endings that we have there, but you can put more weight on the belly of your quads than you can on your IT band. Okay, same thing for the inside of our thigh. You can foam roll that as well. So kind of the same concept. You're gonna come down and lay on your belly. You're gonna take your, whichever thigh you want, prop it up on the foam roller and just roll front to back. And again, you find a point of tenderness in here, and stop and hold it for 30 seconds until you feel the release. Okay, and of course you would do the same thing all on the other side. So again, just to demo the IT band, front foot propped up, back foot off the ground, and just a quick roll. Same thing, you can come onto your front and do your quad. Finding the point of tension, letting that release. Then coming on your belly and doing the inside of your thigh as well. Find that point of tension, hold, let it release. This is also a really good hip flexor stretch, at least for me. Now, finally, we have our foot. So for the feet, you can use like a golf ball. I have this little one that's specific for your foot. If you have anything like plantar fasciitis, if this hurts too much, first of all, you can easily take the weight off the foot and just use it as a mobility tool. So just to kind of loosen up the tendons, and there's so many muscles in our feet, so we really need to pay special attention to taking care of those, especially if we are runners or we stand on our feet all day, or ladies, if we wear heels, we need to pay a lot of attention to our feet as well. So, now I personally do not do any stop and hold on the foot. I just roll it to loosen up any of the muscles, okay? So it's a little bit different for the foot. We're not stopping and holding because, again, there's a lot of nerves in our feet. You're gonna find something that hurts, and it's probably supposed to hurt because of the nerves being there, okay? Not because you have tight plantar fascia. So same thing, just take it and roll back and forth. So there is a very quick once over on how to use a foam roller on just about all of our body parts. Now, I know you guys saw my R8 roller here. This is very, very intense. I would suggest using something like this at the end of your day, not prior to working out. We don't want to compromise any of basically the force of muscle contraction, and doing static stretching, super deep tissue sort of work can definitely compromise the stability of those muscles. So that's why we don't do static stretching prior to exercising, and that's why we save all this stuff for later. This is great. It can be adjusted. You do have to apply some force to it. So you can put it over your quad, for example, and foam roll here, but you do have to pull out so it doesn't apply as much pressure, okay? And then as everything starts to loosen up, then you can allow more pressure to apply. But again, that's more deep tissue than it is myofascia, but it can be used for the fascia release. So that is it for today. That is a quick total body foam rolling technique that you can use prior to working out as part of your dynamic warm-up or as your cool down. I definitely suggest doing it at least morning and night. It only takes a couple of minutes. And once you start doing it more, you'll find that you have basically like some hot spots. So for me, it's always my lower back and my glutes and my calves. So you can definitely spend a little bit more time and focus on that area. If you sit at a desk and you have terrible posture, like I tend to when I work on my computer, foam rolling your upper back and your neck during the middle of the day can really help alleviate some tension headaches or any sort of neck or back pain as well. So I definitely suggest doing that. These are great tools to use, and as you can see, I have a plethora of them, and I'm sure as you learn to love foam rolling, you will too. All right, guys, next week we'll talk more about different flexibility training concepts, and I'll see you then. Bye.